Welcome to the inside story on the Integumentary system. Time for some of the naked truth.
Now listen, you are getting me to do this by the skin of your teeth, so please don't embarrass me.
Oh, don't take it so personally. Everyone has skin. It's essential for our survival. Here, I'll lend you a hand by showing them my skin.
Great.
If you click on the picture, you'll get the inside skin story. Everyone has lots of skin. In fact, it's our largest organ. About 6 pounds of skin covers 18 square feet on an average person. This cross-sectional view,
The one that looks like tricolored dessert?
that's my skin seen in its full thickness. The top layer is called the epidermis. It's very hard working because it protects the underlying skin layers from the outside environment. It has cells that make keratin, a substance that waterproofs and strengthens the skin. It also has cells that contain melanin, the dark pigment that gives skin its color. Other cells in the epidermis allow us to feel touch and provide us with immunity against foreign invaders like germs and bacteria. The very bottom layer of the skin is the hypodermis. It contains the fat cells or adipose tissue that insulate my body and help it conserve heat. The layer between the epidermis and the hypodermis is the dermis, often called the true skin. It contains the cells that give skin strength, support, and flexibility. As we age, the cells in our dermis lose their strength and flexibility, and our skin loses its youthful appearance.
I'll say.
These are sensory receptors in the dermis. They allow me to receive stimulation from the outside environment and let me experience pressure, pain, and temperature. You can see the blood vessels that provide the skin with nutrients and remove its waste products. Sebaceous glands produce the oil in my skin, which keeps it from drying out. The oil from my sebaceous glands also helps to soften my hair and kill bacteria that gets in my pores. These oil glands are all over my body, except on my hands and feet. If they were there, I would probably be dropping things and slipping on the floor all the time. Dr. Harper, what protects skin from the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun?
The skin must screen or reflect ultraviolet or UV rays using special cells called melanocytes. Inside the melanocytes are small particles called melanosomes. These make the skin-shielding pigment melanin. Melanin helps block the degree to which harmful UV rays penetrate the skin surface.
An important part of the skin that you didn't mention is the sweat gland.
Oh, right. There are 2 kinds. One type, my apocrine sweat glands, are located in the armpits, around the nipples, and the genital region. They become active after puberty and release substances called pheromones that seem to provide Adam and myself with a chemical attraction, if you know what I mean.
Let's just move right along to the other kind of sweat gland.
Oh.
The eccrine glands, which make sweat the old-fashioned way.
If you would like to see the inside story on eccrine sweat glands, click on the picture to play the animation.
Eve has more than 2.5 million eccrine sweat glands all over her body. They lie deep in her skin and are connected to the surface by coiled tubes called ducts. She perspires continuously,
Adam?
whether she exercises or not, releasing a liquid mixture that is 99% water and 1% salt and fat. Up to a quart of liquid a day can evaporate through her sweat glands. In conditions where her body becomes overheated, she sweats, which evaporates and cools her body. Eve occasionally becomes frightened or nervous.
Ugh!
Then she begins to sweat on her palms and forehead, as well as the soles of her feet and her armpits.
Help!
These are the sites where her sweat glands are most abundant. Here, let me help you, Eve.
Oh, thanks a lot, Adam. These days, Adam's skin looks pretty clear, but here's a photo Adam's mother gave me from his junior high school days. He definitely had his acne period. That's because his sebaceous glands became very active during puberty. Like most teenage boys, Adam's hormones were pretty active. They told the sebaceous glands, which empty into the base of his hair follicles, to produce a mixture of fat and wax called sebum. Of course, his hormones told him a lot of other things as well. But the good news is that most of his acne is gone, although he still gets an occasional pimple on his back or shoulders.
You had to tell him.
Let's forget about your acne and get outside to the beach. If you would like to meet us at the shore to talk about skin in the sun, click the picture to play the animation.
Dr. Harper, what are the symptoms of skin cancer?
Doctors usually see skin cancer as growths or dark discolorations of the skin. Sometimes these growths, also called lesions, are ulcerated or bleed easily. Doctors have come up with a memory phrase that might help you evaluate a skin lesion. Remember the phrase ABCD. A is for asymmetry, or a shape that is different on each side of the lesion. B is for border, or the irregular edges of the lesion. C is for color, or the varying colors, dark and light areas within the lesion. D is for diameter, which is of concern if it is 6 millimeters or a bit larger than a pencil eraser. If you notice any of these signs, please contact your doctor for a professional examination.
How can skin cancer be treated and prevented?
Surgical removal is the usual treatment for skin cancer. Most procedures can be done in the doctor's office, but more serious cases, such as basal cell cancers, may require extensive surgery. Melanomas are the most serious form of skin cancer because they can spread to other parts of the body. Besides surgery, melanomas may require treatments such as chemotherapy. The most important fact to know about skin cancer is prevention. Avoid the sun between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Wear a hat and other protective clothing when you are out in the sun, and most importantly, wear a sunblock with a sun protection factor rating of 15 or higher.
You really can't talk about skin without thinking about the sun. The skin uses sunlight to help manufacture vitamin D, which is important for normal bone formation. But sometimes its ultraviolet light can be very detrimental. Within the skin's epidermal, or outer layer, are cells that contain the pigment melanin. Melanin protects me from the sun's ultraviolet rays, which can burn the skin, and which over time could reduce its elasticity and cause me to age prematurely. Suntanning occurs because exposure to sunlight causes my skin to produce more melanin and to darken. The tan fades as these cells move toward the surface and are sloughed off. Sunlight is beneficial in limited amounts and with proper protection from overexposure. Too much exposure to ultraviolet or UV rays can cause sunburn. UV rays penetrate the outer skin layers and pass into the deeper layers, where they can damage or kill skin cells.
People like me who don't have much melanin and who sunburn easily should protect themselves by covering up sensitive areas, wearing sunblock, limiting their total exposure time, and limiting their sun exposure between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Frequent and prolonged exposure to ultraviolet rays over many years is the chief cause of skin cancer, which should not be taken lightly, but is felt to be curable if detected at an early stage.
At the beach, I saw a mole on Eve's back that I thought looked unusual, so now Eve is at the dermatologist's office to have it looked at.
By looking at my skin color and texture, my doctor can tell a lot about my general health. While some skin disorders are associated with illnesses, most common skin disorders such as birthmarks, warts, moles, and age spots usually are not. To learn more, click on the picture to play the animation.
Dr. Forrest, dial 118, please. Dr. Forrest, please dial 118.
It amazes me how the models in this magazine have such perfect skin. Adam, it used to be that many individuals tried to hide their moles and other common skin disorders. Moles are colored spots on the skin formed by cells containing the dark pigment melanin. While generally harmless, which is what my mole turned out to be, some moles can change shape and color or start bleeding and require immediate evaluation. Some birthmarks are simply moles that are present at birth. Others result from the rapid growth of blood vessels in a localized area. When I become older, I may get age spots. These are simply patches of increased pigmentation on my skin surface, like freckles.
And warts are another very common type of skin disorder. Viruses are responsible for their occurrence, and they're also very common in witches, frogs, and my mother-in-law.
Adam?
Sorry, Mom.